1019 The End. It's the Chunga Show.
We're taking your calls, 470-570-670-1019. Now, you guys have done ghost investigations in a variety of places.
Mm-hmm.
You have done a ghost investigation with dead bodies in the room with you.
Yes.
I recall Brendan walking into an old man.
Old man, yeah.
The body of an old man on a table.
Yep.
Yes.
That was fun.
Is that the most scared you've ever been on one of these things?
Yes. No, I mean, the thing is, I just
because he was uncovered, right? And you looked down, and he was just kind of staring up at you.
Yeah, his face was just right there, and I don't know if he'd been bombed yet or what the deal was.
No,
but
he hadn't been. He was ready.
He just, you know how a dead person kind of looks, and
yeah,
they look dead, but they had a weird facial expression.
Sure,
and I'm walking around, I'd never been in this place before, so I'm trying to figure out where things are, and I just shine my flashlight down. There he is, staring up at me. And
what do you think the odds of us taking some winners to go on a ghost investigation where there's a bunch of dead bodies around?
It wouldn't be very good.
Yeah. That's not very good for us, so let alone,
it
wouldn't go over real well.
Well, and they may not want to do it.
It might be a trauma for somebody,
Yeah, sure.
That's not a pleasant thing to see.
Well, I want to try, I think we should do the essay thing again this year, Court.
Okay.
What do you think? Where people can just send in essays.
Yeah, telling us why they deserve to go.
Why you want to go be a ghost investigator.
Yep.
We want people that are going to take this very seriously. This isn't a spook alley. This isn't a place to go joke around, because we're actually trying to do some work and get ghost investigations done. Get the EVPs.
If you have the party mentality, just stay home. Don't bother, please.
But with that said, I want it to be creepy. I do want it to be creepy.
There's no reason not to. I mean,
that's what I'm after. I'm after something that's just because there have been a couple that we've been on that have affected me for days after. And
really?
That's what I want to try.
You enjoy that though.
It makes you think. It didn't creep me out like spook me, but it stuck with me for a couple of days after the fact. The first time we went to the mausoleum, Brendan knows what an emotional reaction I had to the mausoleum.
Well, that's a very sad place.
Well, and the thing is, a lot of people just don't understand that, in a place like that, you hear, mausoleum, okay, well, a bunch of crypts and all that. But to actually get in there, and it becomes this personal thing, because you're actually reading the plaques and seeing, here's the body of a 3-year-old, and there's that one area where it's nothing but the children's crypts,
crypts,
and I think that's about where you started going. I just don't know if I like this.
I got a little emotional. I got a little teary eyed at one point. It was just me and Brendan walking around, and it was hard because there's a crematorium there, and there are urns there, and I saw this little handwritten note from a little child that said you were a good dad. Mm-hmm. Very, very tough, very, very, very emotional to go and take part in this, and it took on a decidedly different feel, and it wasn't nearly as creepy as it was when I started, and I had kind of a new appreciation for what it is that you guys do.
And that really, we've always said we treat these ghosts like people.
Yeah, they are people
because they are people.
A body.
And going to a place like that really kind of makes you realize that these were people. I mean, no matter what, no matter how the ghost acts or whatever, ultimately they were a person with loved ones. They lived, they died, and all that stuff. And it just drives me nuts sometimes. Well, yeah. But it drives me nuts sometimes because I see a lot of these, especially you mentioned the shows, the Ghost Hunters show and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And they go into this thing about, we're going to provoke them and we're going to, start calling them this and that. Yes. I mean, it's entertainment. That's all that is.
Yeah. I mean, do you think there's any legitimacy to anything they're doing?
I'd be very skeptical about it. And it irritates me how they present it.
Yeah.
For one thing, if there is a ghost there, they're very disrespectful to that person. Mm-hmm. That person still has emotions. Mm-hmm. Like when we go to a location, I invite them to, it's just like going into a group of people. Most people won't interrupt you or talk with you if they're not invited into the conversation. Yeah. That's why every time we go someplace, we invite them to come and talk with us and join in our conversation and to be with us, because people are just not that way typically to do that.
Right. Well, and they're not, as much as kind and as caring and as loving as you guys are when you do this, and I have a newfound respect for this, there is kind of a bad element that can take place in one of these investigations. Bad things can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
yes,
it's just...
But that can happen anywhere.
Yeah, it's just the same as, what I was saying.
You've had things thrown at you, and you've been hit with things.
But we've never been hurt.
And,
slapped and
I had
pushed.
a bolt thrown at me one time in an abandoned theater. I mean, the thing was, bigger around than my thumb. And it could have really hurt me if it would have wanted to.
Right. Well, and that leads me, we've had some experiences in Pioneer Village, actually, with paint cans, things as big as paint cans hitting people. And bad things like that happening. So you need to know if you're gonna email in, there is that element. You went to the home of a couple of people that were dabbling in witchcraft and things like that.
And they showed us some scratches and stuff that they had on them, and I believe one lady was bruised or something like that.
So you need to understand, you need to have no illusions that this is not while a very nurturing, peaceful, somewhat tedious experiment or experience or adventure, it can also be there is a risk. There is a risk
that you've got to be willing to accept.
Exactly. If you would like to be a ghost investigator, we might very well pick you. Email the Chunga Show at 1019theend.com.
That's actually the email address.
That's the email address.
The Chunga Show at 1019theend.com.
And send your essays there. It can be 2 sentences. It can be 5 pages. That's entirely up to you. We want your heart in this, and we want to know why you're so interested in doing this and why you deserve to be the one, because last year we had thousands of these things. And so if you want to do it, send it in. And even though you may not be picked, we still may read your email on the air. So watch your potty mouse. All right. You want to take some more calls?
Sure.
Let's get to that. But first, I want to play another EVP. Let people get some more ghost voices. This is number 4 here.
Okay, this is Jenny. You're going to hear her. We're at a cemetery.
She's a ghost investigator.
She's one of our Brendan's
my wife.
By the way,
right.
You're going to hear Jenny say, one time we came here, there was a truck parked up there, and he had just had his car on the whole time. And you're going to hear a child, it sounds like a child, say, it's Daddy's car. And we found out later that this man...
Wow.
We found out, I think, weeks. This man was
weeks
there.
He was coming every night and parking in the same spot.
No matter when we were there, he was there. And
he just
mourning the loss of a daughter or a son.
A child.
Yeah, and we found out later we went up and actually talked to him a couple weeks later, and he said that his son had just passed away a while ago, and he would go there every night and just
he'd sit there for hours.
And so you talked to the little boy.
That's what we're wondering. And again, this goes into contemporary information. We had no idea why this guy was showing up all the time.
You find that out until after.
And then we talked to him, and we've heard this voice that says, well, it's Daddy's car. We didn't know that when we recorded the voice. So,
all right, here we go.
So one time when we came here, there was a truck parked up there, and he just had his car on the whole time.
Wow. I just got chills.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Ghost investigators.
In this particular cemetery, we recorded, me and Brennan have talked about it. It's too bad we didn't have the availability at that time. The equipment
technology that we have now
wasn't ready because,
right.
Boy, I'm telling you, there was some voices there that we recorded that were just fantastic.
Let's do another one.
All right.
The next one is number 5.
No, this one's you.
This is me.
This is from last year. This is the EVP you say you recorded, even though I recorded it.
Yeah, Brendan, you recorded
this. But it was responding to you.
This was in the Heber C. Kimball house.
Yeah, why don't you set it up?
It's not the actual, it's not his house, it's a reproduction.
Yeah.
Which leads to another thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be an old house. No, to be haunted.
And a lot of, if you know, all the furniture and all that was all original. And definitely things can be attached to furniture, not just houses. Things can be attached to people.
We had some very strange things start happening. Heber C. Kimball's Bible is in his room. The Prophet's Bible is up there in his bedroom, along with a lot of his other personal artifacts. And of course, I held the Bible, looked through the Bible, read some of his notes, and all kinds of horrible smells started coming through the room the minute I started doing that. Which was basically, when you get smells, what does that mean?
Well, we believe that means that someone is dissatisfied with what you're doing.
Is unhappy with what you're doing.
There, or they don't want you to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
They might not have wanted you handling that book.
I think that's definitely the case, and I put it down immediately and then went and started manhandling the children's toys, which are also authentic. And that's when the woman kind of yelled in my ear, although we didn't pick it up. Now, I went downstairs to Violet's bedroom, which is just right on the main floor, right by the stairwell, kind of off to the side. Her gloves are on a table. Her bed is in there. Her dresser is in there. There's an organ in there that apparently she would play. And her name was Violet, and she was kind of the taskmaster. And Brennan, I told you, I said, I have a very, very strange feeling about this part of the house. And so you said, cool, let's set up here.
Yeah.
And we had weird things. We had crazy feedback, which has never happened before.
Yeah, I remember. It was
so loud, it sent us all running out of the house at one point.
And I forgot about that until you just mentioned it. Yeah, we were upstairs. I just left everything recording, and all of a sudden we heard this loud buzzing,
like squelching feedback.
I thought it was somebody.
I thought somebody triggered an alarm.
It was like an alarm had gone off, and it was almost like somebody had screamed so loud into your microphone it had completely was feeding back.
And then I actually had to turn down the mixer on it just because that was the only way I could stop it.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
And this microphone that you recorded this was in the same exact spot.
Right.
And it's me is sitting in there alone. You guys aren't even in the house at this point, although your gear is. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to talk to Violet. And I say, do you want to come talk to us? Is there anything you would like us to know? And then Violet says, not really. She was rather unhappy. Here we go. Do you want to come talk to us? Is there something you'd like us to know?
Not really.
Man!
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. I think I was with you when you were doing
You were right there, dude.
Yeah. Oh, man. Like, there's no mistake. So awesome. There's no mistaking.
No, let's play it again.
Wow.
But it's been 3 or 4 years of
and
me
there was
doing
just
this.
2 females.
Right.
You and our winner.
And our winner. I forget her name. I'm
trying to remember it as well.
I want to say it was Chelsea, but it's not Chelsea. I thought it started with an A. Yeah. Anyway, she was great, and her husband was fantastic.
But that's not her voice? Or
no. She was a very young girl.
Barb, so.
Here we go. Do you want to come talk to us? Is there something you'd like us to know?
Not really. Not really. Not really.
Wow. That's good
You
stuff.
see Chunga's
Well, I mean, we've had some strange
I wish you folks could see his face. He is delighted.
But because after a while you start learning how to kind of you just have this feeling. You start honing in on those. You become very, very, your senses become very alert.
Right.
And you start sensing when they're around.
Well, some
after
of you
a while.
do. I mean, I have a hard time with sensing.
Well, do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Court's the best at it. He doesn't ever record anything, but Court's the guy that's like, I'm not going in.
Well, I just in life I'm typically creeped out by most things, but so I don't know if that really counts.
The Chunga Show. Morning 6 to 10. Only on 101.9. The End. The End. It's the Chunga Show.
Maybe we can take our listeners to do a ghost investigation of Trolley Square.
I don't want to speak too soon.
That would be something.
I'm sure there are certain channels we'd have to go through.
It's obviously the place of a great tragedy.
Yeah.
It's also an extremely old building. One of the oldest in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
So there might be some very rich activity there.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find when, because the trolley's actually under construction right now, they're renovating the place.
Yeah.
Do you find that buildings that are currently kind of in a state of chaos tend to have more activity?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
People don't like change.
Well, in fact, you remember the Exchange building that we did a few years ago.
The old insane asylum.
Exactly. They were actually in the process of remodeling all that stuff, and that's when things started happening.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens a lot.
Somebody don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
has that since been renovated, that building?
Honestly, I haven't been there in over a year.
Every
so I don't know.
every time I go up to Ogden, I drive by it, even if it's way out of my way.
Yeah,
just because it's
you're just like,
it's just this odd building out in where it doesn't look like it should be there anymore because things have changed around it.
Right,
and it doesn't look like it's changed at all.
It's still just as nutty
since we were there 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
so
very bizarre place. Morgue in the basement. There's an old cafeteria in the basement.
Yeah, a creepy well.
There's a well, which scared the living hell out of Court.
I have a fear of water in general.
And it was this green, deep,
it was lit. It was like lit from below.
Why?
Like there's some sort of fluorescent algae.
Yeah, it's like self-illuminating algae.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
kind of a green.
Strange.
That green.
Yeah, it was. That's the place where I was absolutely petrified for a good 3.5 minutes by a lamppost.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Brendan remembers that. Absolutely terrified, thinking it was a little girl staring at me. It was just a lamp.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Good times.
That was honestly one of the most scared I've ever been in my entire life because I thought I was about to get charged by this evil little zombie girl.
Oh yeah, and a lot of times, that's when you get scared. It's some stupid little thing
and
like that.
It was a lamp.
And and that's why it's so important to have your senses about you,
right?
Because and that's another reason why we don't have children with us because you know the fear you were feeling.
Oh my gosh!
Okay, children are 100 times more.
Complete emotional breakdown.
Right,
at that point,
and that's one reason why we will not have children with us on an investigation because your imagination can just go nuts.
It didn't help that it was not the first time I've actually seen a ghost. I saw a ghost on the Queen Mary when I was a little kid. Saw them in the old mill. But I was in the bathroom on the upper level of the Exchange building and saw a little girl run past the bathroom door behind me and spun around and was like, wait a minute. So I had a video camera, was trying to get it. And then I walk out into the darkness and see this little white shape standing at the end of the hall that looked exactly like the shape I just saw run past the door.
Yeah.
And was frozen in my tracks, speechless, on the verge of peeing myself for about 2.5 minutes. And that's a long time when you're horrified. Oh my gosh. It's 9:25. The ghost investigators, Brendan and Barbara, are here with us, and their webpage is called ghostpix.com. You guys want to take some calls?
Yes.
People have tons and tons of questions. See what they've got going on here. Hello, 1019 The End. Who's this?
This is Teresa. How are you?
Good, Teresa. What's your question for the ghost investigators?
Oh, well, I happen to live in a house that's over 125 years old, and we just found out recently that it was the first funeral home in Nashville.
Ooh, wow.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, and we've had several very interesting things have happened here, and it's just kind of fun.
Well,
It is fun, isn't it? Experiencing
it is very
the
fun.
unknown.
And in fact, my mom has always told me that I have I'm always in tune with that because I had an experience starting when I was 10 years old with an aunt and uncle that had passed away, and I've just experienced several things since then. And so now, just with you guys being on here, it's just like I've got to do an essay and I want to go.
Get in there, yeah. And you should do an investigation in your own home,
Let's
too.
do your home.
Why do the essay? We'll just do it in the house.
Sure.
I want to do it at my house, and I was glad that you had given me that information earlier. But my kids, my daughter, when we first moved in here, didn't like sleeping in a room. And then, like I said, and we've been here for 6 years, and we just found out about it being the first funeral home.
Yeah.
So
Did she ever talk about experiences that she had, why she didn't like it?
Yes, she didn't like it because there was a lady.
A lady.
There's a lady here, and she wears a white gown.
Yeah.
So, and we've seen her.
How old is your
several
daughter
times.
now?
Pardon?
How old is your daughter now?
She is 11, and she loves it. And I think that she does a lot of the same things that I do in feeling when they're around and that. Mm-hmm. And I've just taught her, you don't be afraid of it. It's okay.
Right. That's very good.
So,
all right.
Anyway.
I think Bountiful is a pretty genuinely creepy place anyway.
It is not. It's
personal feelings aside.
No, I'm not saying that to be a smart aleck. Bountiful has got it's kind of an older place, and it's got some spooky places up there.
Yeah, we have a lot of really old, I mean, there's older homes everywhere, but,
Bountiful's,
it's kind of it's interesting.
He gives me
Well,
the
if you want us to do an investigation there, contact us.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. See you later. Hello, 101.9 The End. Who's this?
Hey, this is Lisa.
Lisa, what's your question?
I was wondering if animals carry their spirits around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
We've actually, we have a recorded, it sounds like dogs barking.
There's a dog in the old mill.
Yeah,
there's a dog.
Animals have been experienced. The house that we used to rent had a cat.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, you could hear that dog. I mean, it was just that dog.
Wow.
I'd hear it all the time. It scared me to death.
Why would they stick around?
Well, why not? Why do people stick around?
Yeah.
And people have reasoning.
Yeah.
You would think that people of out of everything on the planet would have the sense to go, I'm walking into the light now. I'll see you.
I'm done.
All right, I'll see you later. Thank you. Hello, 101.9 The End. Who's this?
This is CR.
CR, what's your question?
Hey, I don't know if these are considered like ghosts or not, but do you guys know anything about skinwalkers? Because I've got a pretty crazy story about skinwalkers.
I've definitely heard of them. My wife is Navajo, so I'm pretty familiar with it, but it really has nothing to do with ghosts at all.
They're not ghosts?
No.
What is the background behind them? Like, what are they then?
I believe, and
you start getting into the supernatural at this point. That isn't what these guys
do.
And
a religious.
Okay.
It's a
religious
belief.
These guys handle it more from a clinical or a scientific standpoint.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah.
All right. Sorry,
Okay, cool.
CR. See you, dude. Hello, 101.9 The End. Who's this?
Hi, this is Shannon. How are you?
Good, Shannon. What's your question for the ghost investigators?
Well, my question is kind of for Chunga, actually.
Yes.
It is my dream to buy the old mill and turn it into a bed and breakfast.
Oh, do it. I'd stay there every weekend.
Run like hell. Don't.
Well, I've talked to the owners of it, and they don't seem to say that they think that there's anything weird going on.
No, and in fact, you can go talk to the groundskeeper and ask him if he's ever seen anything strange. He'll tell you, see, I saw a one-eyed raccoon once, saw a three-legged dog. But listen to me.
Okay.
It's crazy in there.
Okay.
Crazy in there.
Okay.
I used to carry around my record, my radio, because I was a bouncer in that place. My radio, I went through 9 batteries in one night. 9-volt batteries, 9 of them. In a night. I play, doors lock on their own. You hear people in there, dogs barking. A dude. There's a really nice apartment in the basement of this place,
right,
where the caretaker lives all year, or lived. I don't know if he does anymore because
no, I don't think anybody's up there anymore.
When we went to open the old mill once in August, late July. They have this room, and there's a big fireplace in this room, and it's on the second floor. It's
the
on
heart room.
The heart room.
Yeah.
And this guy goes up there on New Year's Eve, writes a note, I'm going to the heart of my tormentor and ending this struggle, and then blows his head off and sits in there for 7 months until he's found when we open up the spook alley. There's bad stuff in there.
With that said,
That's just Chunga's opinion.
if you do choose to buy it and they actually let you do it, we would like to get in there to do a ghost
You
investigation.
can see the blood stain on the floor.
You know what? I would totally like to have you to love to have you do it. It's kind of hard right now because the building is in limbo.
Yeah.
Because
Which is
people
sad.
who own that gravel pit that's up above.
Yeah.
They own that whole piece right there.
And they can't destroy the building because it's a historical building.
Historical registry, right? But that whole piece of land is, I guess, under lease, lease contract for the next 3 years. So they're just kind of in limbo.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of waiting. But you say run.
No. Listen, this place, it was a paper mill, burnt down, people died.
Right.
Sat vacant. They built it back up as a paper mill. It burnt down, people died.
Right.
Sat vacant for like 40 years. Forever.
It was in the 20s. It was a resort.
The 20s, it was like the Shining Hotel. It was because the city, the valley was much bigger then.
Right.
You couldn't zip from place to place, so people would vacation up there, and it was like a bed and breakfast kind of thing, like you're talking about. And people would go up there, and they'd get mad and throw temper tantrums, and people would go crazy up in there. And then they'd end up leaving. So then it sat vacant again from like the 30s until the 70s when they turned it into a disco.
It was a disco, yeah.
And there was all kinds of rapes and all kinds of craziness away. There's bad energy in that place. It's bad.
I don't
That's
think we
just
should get.
strictly from Chunga's opinion.
It's horrible.
I don't think we should get you on the old mill anymore. Man.
It's awful.
It just turns into.
Chunga, just by the way,
Yes.
the show that you're talking about that's full of crap on the Travel Channel
Yes.
is called Most Haunted.
Most Haunted. That's what it is.
The one that's called Ghost Investigators is on Sci-Fi,
And that's
it's
more legit.
Kind of like your people on today. They sort of go in to try to disprove things.
Right. Yeah. They went to those guys went to the Shining Hotel up in Colorado.
Yeah,
Yes.
We had
had
all
them on-
kinds of ways.
Yeah, we had them on the show.
Yes,
Yeah.
weird things happened. Yeah.
All right,
okay.
baby. Thanks for calling. See you
Thank
later.
you.
Stay out of that building. I actually, this is
Buy
no
it.
joke.
Buy
A couple
it.
of years ago, I went up there on Halloween and was like shooing kids away. like I'm some sort of crazy old caretaker.
He's become the old caretaker.
Get out of here! What are you doing? I'm by myself on Halloween night. Go get out of here!
Oh my!
No, I really did this.
Somehow I'm not surprised.
It's bad mojo
I
in
can
that
see
place.
it in my head. It's
We
weird.
were never allowed to go anywhere alone because there's lots of narrow stairways that have doors on either end of the stairway that
You get
shut and
locked.
lock. And you're never found.
Oh Jesus! Come on, man.
Well, I mean, we were found, but I mean, it happened.
Sure, yes.
It's scary in there, man.
It swallows you up.
It's 9:34. All right, I'm getting you guys in there. I mean, you guys want to hear some more EVPs?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Number 6, you guys. More. These are actual ghost recordings from actual ghost investigations. These are basically electro voice phenomena. You guys, these are real voices.
Yeah. Well,
ghosts.
real voices that you don't hear. So,
Right.
All right. Now this one, we talked about the Exchange building earlier. Up in Ogden. This is what I mentioned. I use a condenser mic and I just kind of set up and walk away and let it go by itself.
Yeah.
That's how this one was recorded. Nobody was in the room at the time.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think we're actually out of the
Outside.
building at the time.
Nobody's in there.
Not at
The
all.
Exchange building is where you recorded what is one of the longest EVPs ever.
Right.
Most EVPs are like a couple of words.
Right.
This thing is a minute and a half long, and we'll play it close to Halloween.
Yeah, we'll bring that on the next show.
Oh,
Yeah, but this one was recorded the same way as the one we were just talking about, and I just left my setup going by itself. We all went outside, and you're going to hear a woman. It almost sounds like she's coming closer to the microphone, but she's humming. And that's all it is.
and
It's
she's just in there, just wandering around.
just humming. That's it.
All right, here we go.
Oh man.
No way!
And I can't make out the tune.
Yeah, have you
Well,
ever
I was going to say, do you know what it is?
No.
No, it sounds familiar for some reason, but I have no clue.
I cannot make out the tune.
Wow. That's insane.
And
I
that was
haven't heard
quite
that
that
one.
was quite long.
Yeah, and you guys
that
weren't.
is
You
longer
guys
one.
were gone.
Yeah, we
You
were
guys
out.
weren't in the building. You
No,
were out of
no.
the building.
Yep.
Do you find that you record more stuff when you guys aren't there?
No.
No, actually, it seems like we record more when we are there. It brings the interaction in. There's a reason
Right,
for
yeah.
them to say something. It's actually fairly rare to record something when it's
Nobody's
just sitting by
there.
itself. And yeah,
Yeah, the Exchange building is a former insane asylum. There was a mass
It's
murder
quite
that
a
was in there.
weird location. You know?
It's up in Ogden. Like we said, there's a morgue in the basement. There's when we were up there was rumor of a little girl that was very young that was doing profane things to
Yeah.
herself.
yeah,
That was scaring off people that were there to see us. They were going through a spook alley, and she would crawl up and down the stairs and basically fondle herself
Yeah.
in front of people. But she was young, like 5 or 4.
yeah.
And she would do very explicit, gross things to herself. And child services was called out there on the owner, and all kinds of weird things happened. And so we went in there to take a look at what was going on, and had some weird things happen, but not while we were there. But you guys have had a bunch of very bizarre things happen.
Yeah, and a lot of it's, I don't know how many times we actually did investigations there, but it was quite a few.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
we did.
actually haven't been there for
A while.
a year and a half at least.
Yeah.
And I don't know what stage they are in
Remodeling
their,
everything.
upgrading it or anything.
This is EVP number 7 here.
All right.
Also from the Exchange building.
building, and it sounds like a woman, and she says, it sounds like she says, "I don't want to come back."
And nobody's talking. It's just
No,
her.
and this one's actually kind of weird. There's no context leading up to it. It's just a woman. It sounds like she's, I don't want to come back.
Okay, here we go. Ew.
It almost sounds to me like she's got
Wow.
like an accent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sort
a
of.
little bit. When do you get ghost voices in other languages and
Yes.
things like that?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're saying, but I mean, we've had some. They're definitely German.
German.
Germanic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of Eastern European, Western European.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Spanish. Things that could be Native American. I don't know.
You don't know for sure.
Right.
The Chunga Show. Morning 6 to 10. Only on 101.9 The End.